What's up, Pocket Dudes? Welcome to Pokemon Go to the Movies, the only Pokemon movie podcast here on the GigaBoots Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and with me is Bob.
Diamonds are temporary?
Dr. Aggro.
I'm just like a princess.
Chris Wolfart.
Why do I feel like I've been here before?
And Millennium Mike's very own, Shiba Yagato.
If you have been white boy jump scared by Clement, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
And that's right, this time I am feeling Diancie because we're talking about Diancie. It's Pokemon movie number 17, Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction. Or as it's known in Japan, Pokemon the movie XY, the Cocoon of Destruction and Diancie. They lined up completely for once. What the hell?
Yeah, weird.
What? That...
It's almost like something happened in this movie.
What do you mean the English title's better because they swapped it? That's so fucking weird. I'm not used to that.
Yeah, no, this is really bizarre to deal with. I'm used to looking at these Japanese titles and being like, oh, that's huge and unwieldy and not as cool or maybe cooler. Now it's just, we changed the sentence order.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, it's like how in English adjectives have to be opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to find out that like my big fat Greek wedding is like my Greek fat big wedding or something in Japan and just all go mental.
But that's right. We're here to talk about the movie. For anyone who hasn't watched Pokemon Go to the Movies before, basically what we do is a quick plot synopsis.
Yeah.
We make some musings about the plot as it goes along, and then afterwards we cover it comprehensively in our segments, such as the Whimsy Meter, the Dex Check, the Gun Check, and MVP. And then we rate it on a scale of 1 to how many Pokemon there are in that region's dex. A perfectly understandable number. Anyways, let's get to it. This one just boots straight to the title card. It's like a PS5 game that's like, look at how fast I can load.
Yeah, I really feel like they've given up. Like, we're once again, it's like, okay, it's 71 minutes.
I was surprised that this one was like the 75 or whatever, because I thought maybe with a new generation, with a new vibe, it would get bigger, but it's exactly that runtime again.
I'll tell you what, it didn't feel like a 75er. And I expected it to be a lot shorter because the version I found, that's right, it's once again the TV broadcast version from Cartoon Network with the logo in the corner.
I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet you didn't miss anything.
No, I bet you it was more streamlined, and that scares me.
Okay, so as host, I have one question. Do you open on a crystalline cave where Diancie and Carbinks are bouncing around?
Regrettably.
Okay, well, that was the thing they should have got if they got something. Anyways,
for real.
One of the Carbinks' name is Merrick, and I'm already mad because a normal Pokemon's talking, and it only took 49 seconds.
Yeah, in fact, my very first note was, there too many things are talking. This is going to be a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
My first note was, ew, I hate her real human woman laugh. Not even trying to put on a funny little voice for the Pokemon. This is awful.
Yeah, it's something. And remember when Meowth talking was like really unique, and now Carbinks can talk? Like,
it's all the Carbinks.
This feels terrible. I feel so bad for Meowth.
There are fucking two of them. There's like the one that looks different for no reason, and then just the random other one that also talks.
Yeah, so that's Merrick and Dace. Dace is the elder.
Dace.
Merrick is the tiny one? Question mark? Anyways, the Carbinks are building a pile of crystals in an underground subterranean place. It's just a big old pile of crystals, and then Princess Diancie, Diancie, anyways, is hiding and playing hide and seek with them, and she says it's so fun, but then the Carbinks accidentally bump the pile and it falls over on them, and they all laugh, and an elder Carbink named Dace tells Diancie that she has an important duty to perform. The heart diamond will someday die out and lose its shimmer. If the heart diamond is lost, then their domain will be finished. Only Princess Diancie can create a new heart diamond. She then goes, okay, I'll try it. And she starts summoning new pink diamonds that spiral upwards in a crazy pattern, because this is we figured out how to make CGI on the cheap. Pokemon movie. Like, we figured out particle systems and we're just going to fill the screen with that as often as we can.
I think X and Y in general was real big on this. Like, I remember reading something where it's like everybody who worked on the anime was like, please, in Sun and Moon, let us actually animate these characters and not strictly keep them to like their model sheets.
Yeah.
And they fought for that in X and Y and weren't allowed. So you get they do all these weird CG shots to try and make it look more interesting when it's the same Ash that has been there for 25 years.
Diancie, however, fails at successfully making a heart diamond out of this crazy particle system. She's sad. The elder tells her that she must go see Xerneas. He then tells her of a terrible event that occurred at the All-Earth Forest
What a
when he
name.
was young. I know. It sounds like a bougie, hipster, like hippie cafe out in California.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a hippie commune or some shit.
It will be significant.
The forest was engulfed in some sort of purplish, pinkish smoke and then turned dead. Oh no. Then the elder yells, "My life force is being drained! I'm finished!" in this flashback while cowering on a cliff. But Xerneas shows up, glows, and the elder passes out. When he comes to, it turns out the small area around Xerneas was saved from the cloud of death. And then he yells that it was the fairy aura. He then tells Diancie, that she must trust fairy aura. She says she'll go on this journey to meet Xerneas because she wanted to see the outside world anyway. The elder tells her she has to take this more seriously, and then she says her catchphrase, "Okie dokie."
Can I not catch the Diancie that says okie dokie?
That would be so good. She's like Chita, except for she just comes with 5 different phrases.
You take this special talking Diancie from a mystery gift into an actual Pokemon battle, it faints, and you just hear a real human woman screaming.
Yeah, but if you win, she goes, "Oh yeah," and you're just like, "No."
And then I'm less comfortable than I would be if she just ate shit.
Right? Like, I wish she fainted. Oh, by the way, the world of Pokemon! A cloudy landscape full of rock pillars has Pokemon appear on them, and Data Analysis HUD flies around them. Then the camera swoops and goes around to different biomes, showing different Pokemon flying past the camera, and more data circles that are easier to animate because it's just the circle and it stops on them occasionally. But then it cuts to a city. Battle music starts as it slowly zooms in on a stadium. On a nearby building, Esper and Meowstic are chilling like gargoyles, and they're so fucking cool. Diantha, who I assume everyone here remembers, uses Mega Gardevoir to blow away an opponent in the stadium who is using a Mega Caesar. It is very cool.
It's incredibly funny that we remember Diantha, one of the least memorable champions in any of these games. And then I vaguely remember that the other dude is one of the gym leaders, and his name is Wiz something, but I do not remember his fucking name.
I know, I was like, I know you're one of them, but I'm not going to look through the list of every gym trainer to remember who you are.
I want to say it's Wick something, but I don't know.
I assumed he had to be, but I really couldn't place him. I was like, maybe he's in Elite
He
4.
is one of them.
If only he had bedhead like Diantha does at all times.
God, Gen 6 had just like all the least memorable gym leaders, I feel like.
Yeah, I didn't even notice these characters were characters. like this is what I remember
There
from
you go.
X and Y. Xerneas, Yveltal. End of list.
What about Fat Kid on Rollerblades who dances?
Yeah, I'll never forget that motherfucker.
Sure,
Right.
is that one?
Yes.
What about Hot Professor Sycamore, huh?
I remember Sephiroth just because he just comes out and is like, and the professor's like, "Here's my good friend," and he goes, "Billions must die." Like that's his opener to the 10-year-old.
I genuinely hope Lysander's in one of these Gen 6 movies, because I hope the movies have to address the aspect of his plan to either give immortality to everybody in the building and force them to live out a life of torment, or kill them all, Peter.
Right? Yeah, no, it's an interesting plan. So this movie pivoting away from even talking about that by it being like, Xerneas and Yveltal have to do with Diancie, and we're not going to talk about whatever the hell the rest of that was. This is pretty funny. Anyway, So as we were saying, in the stadium, Diantha kicks the crap out of guy we all know and love, definitely. And it cuts elsewhere to Ash, who is a trainer. And then we cue the intro music. Ash is fighting. He's battling with some Pokemon. Team Rocket watches from a balloon. Tell me if you've heard this before. Froakie is fighting Esper, Froakie's wielding a tiny knife made of light, and all I could think of was Shikitoto.
Look, it's made of water. It's fine.
Sure. Okay, all right. Ash, however, gets his ass kicked by a blonde girl with a Mega Absol. Meanwhile, Diancie has been bouncing around the city, dodging questionable characters. As it is revealed to us, apparently their names are Riot and Marilyn. Marilyn being dressed in red and using a Delphox, and Riot being a ninja weeb using a Froakie. Greg Ninja.
Right. It's not much, but I really appreciate us having human characters in this movie. It's been so long.
Yeah, I like these two. Like, I like their weird... I like my Pokemon so much, I'm just going to dress like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their designs are interesting, but I think they detract from the actual potential of the movie, which is really unfortunate. Because their inherent, oh, you two want to fuck each other energy is very funny.
I appreciate them over more talking Pokemon.
Right.
That's basically where I'm coming in at with this. And I'm like, okay, these two at very least are humans and can do human things and don't have to be two other legendaries that can talk now.
That have motivations. Question mark.
Question mark. There's no ceremony for Diancie to like become a real princess with ambiguous implications around it. I appreciate it. Anyway, so Riot and Marilyn are trying. Which, man, could we get more different energy and names? Riot and Marilyn. Anyway, they're trying to capture this Diancie. Ash and his crew run up. And then they run off with Diancie. Ash is running with a crew, by the way, of Serena, Bonnie, and Clement. Clement being the nerd with the backpack with the gizmos and the grabby hands in it. He's a nerd.
Yeah.
They pull out a Pokedex and realize that Diancie is, in fact, Diancie and can make diamonds. They explain what a thief is to Diancie to explain who those people were. And she is amused by all of this.
Now... I think this is a good time to see if Aggro has prepared like a knife for everyone.
Okay.
Aggro, click that spoiler because I couldn't stop thinking this.
Hey, Aggro, if you come in tomorrow with Diancie photoshopped into
That's all I could think.
So,
oh my god!
To people who don't listen to Chugging Bleach, our Bleach podcast,
they're a filler princess character who is also vapid and stupid.
Yeah, no, but also the whole movie is like it's Lady Mauricio's movie. Come on!
Sounds about right, yeah.
So I want you to know how close and how far you were. Do you remember? Okay, so this Diancie, I'm like, okay, so this is another one of those, hi, I'm a weird Pokemon, I need you to take me to a place movies. Like we had with the Zoroark, and we had with Guacamole, whatever his name was, Shaman.
You remember?
You remember when I made that terrible Photoshop of Vulcan Raven's face on Shaman?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had made efforts to sort of complete the set here.
Oh, why? What is wrong with you? What? This is terrible.
Why would you do this?
I present to you Decoy Zorooctopus. And Revolver rocks a lot.
God damn it, Jesus.
No. The name has turned me around. I've done a 180. I'm a believer. Revolver Rocks a lot is really fucking good.
I was going to wait till we were done and stab you with this. But...
Maybe you'll stop bleeding by the end of the recording.
I think this movie really would have been improved if Ash was in a torture segment where he had to mash the button but not too fast.
Ash bit off his tongue from the electric torture. Oh no.
He's trained his whole life for this. Pikachu.
That's true. He's so resistant or capacitative, unclear. Anyway, at a luncheon, Diancie sits and eats breads and snacks with the crew. Serena remarks that Diancie has such good manners, like a princess. Clement agrees. Anyways, Team Rocket sneaks up on Diancie while she's now in the shop, while Clement explains that diamonds take millions of years to make and are rare. Thank you, Bill Nye.
That brings up some interesting questions about the makeup of that planet. If diamonds are naturally occurring there the same way they are here, but also naturally rare, or does the Pokemon universe in fact have a horrible, like, diamond monopoly the same way that we do?
Yeah, it really does beg some questions.
I mean, the Pokemon universe doesn't seem to have a centralized government, so I imagine it's probably much worse. Like, they just seem to be everything seems to be a city-state.
That is true. James throws a burlap sack around Diancie and runs off with her.
This is the best moment Team Rocket has had in years.
It is.
It's been like 10 movies, I know. I'm so proud of them.
It worked.
I know. It worked
They
for
run right
once.
past the gang and they just let him fucking go.
Yeah, just a potato sack. It's all they needed.
Our crew just goes, that's Team Rocket! And then they get away. We cut to nighttime inside a clock tower. Diancie points out to Team Rocket that they're thieves, and thieves are bad people, so she's gonna just leave now. But they stop her by standing in her way and tell her to make diamonds. She's like, okay, and then obliges them by creating diamonds. And Jessie is so excited over all this, she makes a hilarious face. Making this single pink diamond, it's absolutely tiny. Team Rocket talks about excitedly they can afford actual food now, and I am so sad for them. She makes another diamond, and now they're talking about actually decadent things like a vacation resort or something. And then they're like, okay, make some more. And she makes a whole wave of them, and it jams up the gears of the clock tower they're in. They're all excited. Diancie just tries to calmly leave in the middle of this whole sequence. But it turns out the door's locked, and she can't escape. But a trainer with a Quilladin knocks the door down. We cut to elsewhere. Diancie's by herself, and she runs into the main crew and just tells them how she just left without mentioning the Quilladin or anything with that trainer. Back at the clock tower, however, Team Rocket realizes, wait a minute, these diamonds aren't forever. The commercials lied and they explode.
You know, if those were real, that would completely have disrupted the world economy.
She should have just been like, okay, Team Rocket, here's one. Go sell it now. And then they're set. They get to eat food and not depress me.
We're not going to see the part of this movie where, like, if one of it, like, we didn't get the scene where somebody looked at it and was like, oh, it's an artificial diamond. It's worthless. Like, whatever diamond she makes is just identically
That would have been
structurally
so
to
good.
cubic zirconium.
That could have been a great ongoing gag.
Watching her emotionally deal with that would have been fantastic.
Oh, fuck.
Jessie might have killed somebody.
The main crew tells Diancie that they want to join her on her journey to Xerneas, and she allows it. For some reason, Ash says, you allow it? And I'm like, whoa, wait, Ash, this is like, that was her journey and she's allowing you to come. This isn't like guacamole here. This is an actual normal, she's allowing you to join her on this journey. Anyway, elsewhere, the lady who let out Diancie flies through the air by standing on Doublade.
This is
Just
incredible.
straight up Gary Oaken it. It's so good.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
She's got style. I respect it.
She boards an invisible aircraft that kind of has like Marvel Avengers aircraft energy with the invisibility filter, perfect dark style, and a stocky blonde dude inside wearing goggles is eating chocolate for some reason and spying on people. The girl's name is Millis, and the dude is her dad. We later find out his name is Argus.
I think it's really inspirational that we finally have, like, positive divorced guy representation in one of these Pokemon
Yeah,
movies.
finally.
Like, his airship isn't too opulent. He gets along with his daughter. Like, we've had have you seen the tweet where it's like, when you become a divorced guy, you take one side of the Fable alignment transformation? We finally have a top example after so many of the bottom examples in these movies.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, we've seen enough divorced dads that if we got a sequel movie, they would just have horns now. Weirdly, we cut to the main crew and Diancie on a tour bus, I guess. It's the tour bus that follows Xerneas, I'm guessing. I don't know. They're just on a bus. She explains that she can detect the fairy aura trail that Xerneas leaves, and she's sensing it from the bus as they travel. At night, Ash is in a sleeping bag unconscious until Pikachu boops him with its tail. Diancie is trying to master making the diamond near the lake, and Ash walks up on her. There's a shooting star. Ash tells Diancie if you make a wish on it, it will come true. He loudly wishes on the second star that comes down that Diancie could someday make diamonds. Bonnie watches from the tent. Bonnie is Clement's little sister. This is all she will get for characterization. She is a girl. She is tiny. Our crew is now on a ship, watching Buizel swim. Diancie says she's having fun. Ash says traveling with friends is fun. Diancie doesn't know what friends are. They explain what friends are. She's so happy that she has friends that she accidentally shoots out a diamond. Worth noting in this scene, Bonnie and Clement are wearing matching outfits. Gray sweatshirt/sweatpants with a shield crest on it.
I think that's their gym logo. I think.
Bonnie catches the diamond and is like, oh, this is a cute diamond. Can I have it? And she goes, oh, it's going to disappear. And she goes, whatever, I want to keep it, and sticks it in her purse. They're in a mall now. Diancie doesn't know what shopping is. They demand to go shopping. She allows it. Now the girls are all trying on cute outfits with Diancie. Just going to point out, girls are shopping and wearing cute outfits fires more neurons in this movie than the last multiple movies in a row, as they have ceremonies with ambiguous credibility or value to them. I'm like, these outfits are cute. Thank you. That's anything movie. Thank you.
This really made it feel more like bleach filler.
I take bleach filler over those last few movies.
That's fair, but I just think this lacked the energy of two preteen girls and a Pokemon that's very cutesy walking into a Hot Topic and coming out with matching Gur hoodies. I think that would have bumped this movie up a full 100 points in my book.
Yeah, we just need a selfie of the three of them posing wearing the Gur hoodies together in that mall. That would have been perfect. Carbinks appear and find Diancie and start chasing her around the mall. The main crew wants to help. Clement yells, leave it to me. The future is now thanks to science. I don't know why he's David Lynch. Don't question it. Anyways, presenting my super stretch ladder. Ash nearly dies by slamming into the ceiling after he steps onto it and then is swinging wildly around the whole mall.
I really enjoy that Clement has a thing. The whole Gen 5 guys had nothing.
Well, we'll note, Silence thing was food.
And being mispronounced.
That was not a thing.
Silence thing was being worse, Brock, actually.
Something about this scene reminded me a lot of Detective Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just we're shooting this child up to the ceiling to chase the thief.
Yes.
Ash, as he's swinging around, risking death, screams, science is amazing, which I appreciate a lot. But then he summons Howlucha, grabs its leg, and descends by gliding down Fortnite style.
We all know that Ash doesn't fear anything. Like, he cannot die from a fall. We've proven this.
Right. They escape the Carbinks into a public park. But then there's Marilyn. Ash tries to defend from Marilyn, who shows up with her Delphox, and he's got a Froakie. I cannot believe he properly counterpicked. Sweet God, this is so rare. Let's all appreciate it.
I think X and Y is when they decide, wait, Ash should actually be good at Pokemon battling. So that becomes a thing.
He even teams up Pikachu and Froakie to fight the Delphox, which probably is illegal, but it's self-defense.
Right.
This is where Ash stood in a really delightful way, which is the spoilered image I put up.
Yeah, that stance is really fucking
Yeah, he's
good.
squaring up.
This is like the most 10-year-old Ash has ever looked.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you've never had a 10-year-old try to fight you, that's what they look like.
Yeah. It's like this is an Ash that just got told they're going to Bennigan's.
So as Ash is defending against Marilyn, the rest of the crew makes off with Diancie and finds a Rhyhorn to ride away. And then they outrace some Rhyhorn racers before dashing into the forest. Hey, remember, you do that. That's a 6th gen thing, and they did it in the movie.
Yeah, I'm shocked they did.
And they give Serena a thing she can do. She has a thing she's good at.
Whoa.
Unlike anything in the Gen 5 characters.
In the forest, Diancie is sad she put her friends in danger, but Clement says that friends always help each other out in a pinch. Meanwhile, Ash is elsewhere defending against a terrorist and criminal. Out of nowhere, Greg Ninja attacks the crew, trying to grab Diancie with his tongue before Deden shocks him. Riot appears out of a nearby tree, and he's got his really cool ninja cosplay again. He tells Greninja to use Double Team, which makes 1,000,000 clone Greninjas. Clement and Serena summon Chespin and Fennekin respectively, but it doesn't help much. Greninja has got that really cool water shuriken. It's going to hit them, but immediately Ash appears with Pikachu to defend, and then the Carbinks appear to defend. Then Diancie makes a heart diamond for a second, and then it blows up. And then Millis shows up to defend with Doublade and Quilladin. Our main crew escapes.
She's got a chestnut,
Oh,
by the by.
whoops. I was like, I don't think this thing's name is Quilladin, but I can't remember.
You know, I had to
Thank
double
you.
check it because that's the grass starter I least remember.
What?
Out of them all ever.
Huh. What's Quilladin?
That's the middle.
That's the middle.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Quill and Paladin.
It's that guy from Heroes of the Storm who goes, "You are not prepared."
Right before he dies, yeah.
I'll never forget this. I will never forget this grass starter because this is the one time I was like, you know what? I'll pick grass, and then I benched them by the end of the game. It's like, you're not good against anything.
Oh.
Hater.
I replaced them with a Gardevoir.
Oh,
Okay, you know.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, that's it was a type thing. That's why. Okay, sure, absolutely.
Are you saying Chris is typist? And moving on from that, Marilyn
I am
recognizes...
against grass. Yes, that's correct.
Ow. We're just saying that, are we?
Marilyn recognizes Millis as Millis Steele and suspects that Argus is here as well. Millis says, maybe so, maybe not. And then the scene ends.
Do you think it's Steel with 2 E's or an EA? Because either kind of work.
That is a good question.
So they use the
huh?
swords.
It's 2 E's in the subtitles.
Yeah,
Okay.
I assume it's 2 E's because of the Doublade and that other one I'm blanking on the name of. That's a shield as well.
Just
Aegis
something.
Slash.
Aegis
Conan
Slash, yeah.
Doublade. I think they have the entire line between her and her dad.
Yeah.
It's true.
They have good taste.
It's true.
True.
The crew calmly is walking through the forest just after escaping. I have no idea what they're doing. And they're talking to the Carbinks. They have been searching for Xerneas for many months. What?
Oh, that gets dumber later.
They're rock people. They don't know time.
they go, I guess this journey started many months ago. Diancie, apparently in the middle of their long journey to find Xerneas, just saw a city and left them all asleep at night. What is wrong with her?
A lot of things.
Anyway, the crew and Pokemon run into a hole that leads to the Diamond Domain.
That's the fast travel segment. Like, that's a fast travel area for Pokemon, I guess.
The domain is disintegrating, by the way. Diancie is heartbroken. She didn't even know what was happening in her own kingdom. She was shopping while everyone down here was suffering. She says she doesn't deserve to be called a princess. I disagree. She resolves to find Xerneas and then leaves. Through a different cave, they find the All-Earth Forest, which has these nice waterfalls. It's very pretty. The Elder explains what happened again and says that Yveltal caused the purplish pinkish gas that killed the All-Earth Forest and then turned into a cocoon. He also warns that anyone who disturbs the cocoon will receive a harsh punishment via the Judgment of Fury. So anyways, they're now in that forest.
I'm sorry. Does one of the Carbinks say that the forest is literally forbidden because of the threat of Yveltal waking up and killing everything?
Yeah, and that's like, you know, obvious. Like, we don't go there because we don't want to die.
Hard cut to a bunch of stupid children walking through said forest.
Right, this isn't a small tactical squad. It's literally everyone who was there at the time.
It's a good thing we had a tunnel leading directly from our kingdom to this forest where we know Xerneas is. and didn't spend months wandering around the surface world encountering unknown dangers.
No, it's
to try
okay.
and find him.
Trust her gaydar. I mean, her fairy aura sense.
Yeah, so presumably before this, they had no idea Xerneas would just be hanging out here all the time. They thought they were running everywhere.
Plus, they mentioned Xerneas likes to fuck around and just run around the entire country. So, whatever. Sure.
So they're now in the Death Forest. Clement says that there's life here, possibly because of the destruction, and then he talks about the balance of nature. Team Rocket is overhead in a blimp as usual. A bunch of butterfly Pokemon I can't remember the name of.
Vivillon.
Thank you.
No problem.
Fly up to a bright opening in the forest where Xerneas is. Diancie follows, but can't quite keep up. But then she keeps up.
Whoa.
Xerneas says that they know they've been following Xerneas for some time, and they know what Diancie wants from them and will grant her wish. It sends out rainbow waves and says, the power to nourish life is within you yourself, and then just jumps off. Just out of the movie. Goodbye.
See ya.
I actually live here, so I won't be going anywhere, but you don't have to talk to me
anymore.
I respect that Xerneas came for the paycheck and left. That's very based of them. I respect it. Don't like that it's a female voice. I feel like that's a little bit off for me.
It was so fucked up that Xerneas was like, I know why you're here. I've known all along.
Yeah.
I was going to let your kingdom die because I'm such a shitter.
I don't know. We don't even know exactly what their kingdom dying means. Like, they're still just these rocks.
Maybe they had it coming. I don't know.
Like, it doesn't seem like that. Like, will they not be able to transport it around easily? Who cares?
I mean, Bob, I'm with you. Anything that floats and bounces just needs to die.
There's no implication that they would die.
No, Bob, it's okay. You're among friends here. We all think that all of these Pokemon should die. Just wipe this population out.
What the hell's going on?
When they're in the mall and Ash, quote unquote, saves Diancie from all of these Carbink and the Carbink start crying, that's when I heel turn and I went, Diancie, you bitch. I hope you fucking eat shit by the end of this movie. You don't deserve to do that to them. They're trying to help you, and you did that. Fuck you.
She's like, oh no, any amount of responsibility. Save me, my teenage friends.
I'm just a white girl. Whatever can I do? I should be at the mall shopping.
I just wanted to get a pretzel. No. Dace, the elder Carbink, says he felt a powerful fairy aura. Ash says he felt it too. Oh no.
Yes,
oh no.
Finally, it's awakening.
Yes.
Ultra Instinct Ash doesn't take shit from Yveltal.
Oh man, I hope they actually do that weird stuff they do in X and Y with Strike Ninja in the movies.
Oh man.
I genuinely hope so.
Diancie tries to make a diamond, but then the Marvel Avengers Sky Vehicle appears with Millicent Argus descending. They congratulate her on gaining the ability to make real diamonds, so now they're going to kidnap her. Argus says it's hard to imagine Diancie not being able to make diamonds. It's like imagining chocolate without cocoa. It is called white chocolate. That is a thing.
He's never heard of this.
I'm going to blow Argus's mind one day. Team Rocket recognizes Argus and says he's the most thievingest thief out there. This is the funniest moment because they have in the past had Team Rocket try to prop up villains in movies, but this is the most phoned in one I think they've ever done. That's Argus. He's divorced. Thank you, Team Rocket. Millis tries to grab Diancie, but Greg Ninja intercepts. Riot flies down on two cables being flown by Shedinjas. It's incredible. So good.
It's so good.
They quickly escape with Diancie into an underground cavern. Marilyn then attacks them. Riot jumps into the water, which makes it purple and tainted. It's disturbing the Cocoon. Marilyn starts making off with the Diancie, but then Millis tries to grab her again, and then Ash grabs Diancie, and everybody's grabbing Diancie. Everyone's so fucking grabby. Anyway, Argus knocks Marilyn down, and Riot catches her. She goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Why? I just and then he lets go of her. Everyone notices the purple in the water and goes, "Oh no, it's awakening!" They all fly away except for Ash and Diancie, who are left in the water as the cocoon surfaces. And the elder goes, "The cocoon of destruction."
And then just death metal starts playing.
And then I pray that Yveltal will kill most of this cast permanently.
Oh no, buddy. Oh, you're fine. Clement died though. Okay, we're good. Anyways, Yveltal is fucking pissed. Diancie backs away into a corner where Team Rocket is going to grab her. It's really good, but then Riot grabs her and jumps away, and it's like, oh, poor Team Rocket. Yveltal, I need you to understand, he shoots a beam of purple pinkish fire that saps the life out of things and turns them into cement like, Majin Vegeta. So imagine that's what it's going to be doing for the rest of this movie, all right? Okay. So yeah, he starts sucking.
He's so fucking metal.
He's sucking the forest. He's sucking Riot's Pokemon. Marilyn and her Pokemon also get sucked. Elsewhere, Xerneas notices there's a lot of sucking going on. Everyone tries to grab Diancie. Meanwhile, Yveltal tries to suck Millis and then her dad, but Chestnut shows up, and then it's all of them losing life energy. Pikachu attacks Yveltal's suck and stops it.
Yeah,
Team Rocket
great.
runs over, and Yveltal hunts them down and sucks them too. Marilyn cries.
Let's be clear. In every shot before this, a group would get swept by the beam, and all the Pokemon would petrify. I was like, okay, it just does this to plants and Pokemon. And then it happens to Team Rocket, and I'm like, you're making some very interesting assertions, film.
Hey,
I mean,
the other times they missed, like the Pokemon protected their masters.
Yeah, like the Pokemon would knock their trainers out of the way.
Right, I
presumably.
figured that out after the fact. I had to think about it.
If some shit from space just gets called a Pokemon based on nothing, we have to assume that Pokemon is just their word for animals. So there's probably some pedantic assholes in the Pokemon universe who are like, humans are Pokemon. We're not any different.
Like, maybe it's not weird that Meowth can talk. Maybe it's weird that Jesse and James look just like humans.
Marilyn is crying elsewhere over her Delphox that got sucked. Riot tells her it's all over, takes his mask off, and tells her they should forget about Diancie and leave. She smiles, and immediately both of them get sucked.
All of your Pokemon just died. Can we wait for a different moment to hook up?
No.
In the
He
Death
cannot
Forest?
No.
He cannot wait.
Oh my god.
Ash and Pikachu catch up to Diancie. Yveltal tries to shoot them, but Diancie stops it mostly with a diamond. They get knocked back, and Diancie is upset. Her powers are still not enough. They run some more. Yveltal attacks. Ash tells Pikachu to use Thunderbolt, which stops the shot for just a moment, deflecting it. But then Carbinks run out and get soul sucked. Ash gets knocked over and starts falling off a cliff. Clement uses his hands to lift him and not his tech backpack with the grabby hand. Clement, you have one thing. Do it. Anyways, and then everyone pulls together in order to lift Ash back up onto the cliff. Yveltal screams and then shoots again. Pikachu deflects with another Thunderbolt, but the beam hits nearby trees, just sweeps them, kills them immediately. Diancie steps out, remembers Xerneas saying that she has the power inside, and starts shooting energy everywhere. She becomes Mega Diancie and makes a diamond that stops the beam from Yveltal before Mega evolving immediately.
It was at this point that I just rewound it to when she was flashing back to Xerneas, took out my phone, put on Power of Love from Sailor Moon, and rewatched the scene, and it was 10 times better.
Yeah, I literally, she used Moon Princess Halation. Very cool.
I feel like this is where the movie probably should have wrapped up. Like, that should have beat Yveltal.
Yeah, that should have been the conclusion. That would have...
No, it's disinterest that defeats Yveltal.
Right. The diamond disappears, but Yveltal is still a threat. The father-daughter combo fly in on the aircraft and try to blow up Yveltal with missiles.
Yeah, they just have missiles.
Airstriking Yveltal is genuinely one of the best parts of this movie, and I'm so glad they just went for it.
They're like, it's got to blow up to missiles, right? It's like, you're dealing with a god of death. It's a Y-shaped bird. Do you really think you have a chance?
Okay, do you think this bird has ever met a tactical nuke before? I think there's a solid shot here.
Oppenheimer's like, damn, it didn't kill Yveltal. The visuals don't do shit. That Yveltal, it's like a fucking Dragon Ball Fighters animation. Just gets up right on the face of the ship and soul sucks both of them in the cockpit. It's so dope.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's really metal for something in a Pokemon movie. Something that feels like way older Pokemon movies.
Yeah, then the aircraft crashes into the ground. It's so fucking cool.
Now, I wish Pokemon movies were bold enough to be metal to the point where that ship crashes and you see the broken fragments of their statue.
Right? And we just don't talk about it ever again.
Yeah.
After that, Yveltal tries to shoot the main cast, but Xerneas finally returns and counters its bullshit with its own bullshit. They both start glowing. Yveltal yells, the water turns back to normal, and then Yveltal flies away. Pikachu then passes out. He's got a case of the vapors. Turns out Pikachu was shot lightly on the tail, which we get via a flashback, and is now turning to stone in Ash's arms. Ash starts crying, and Pikachu gets completely stoned.
But then 20 Celebes show up out of nowhere.
They sing Dahu Dore Fahu Fore. Waves of green emanate outward from Xerneas, and it heals Pikachu in the forest, and everyone else is fine now. Xerneas starts turning into light and melting and becomes a tree. See, we couldn't have it end at the heart diamond, Bob. We have to have body horror.
Yes.
Dace, the elder, says that Xerneas has chosen to slumber here and protected this land. Xerneas says, this is not death. And then him and Diancie sync up to say, this is the promise of life and the beginning of hope. I'm not going to take that shit from a deer melting and turning into a tree.
The fucking Xerneas is so goddamn random in this movie.
I feel like the Xerneas was trying to teach Diancie a lesson on how to become like the protector she needs to be.
By letting Yveltal out?
What lesson? By going, the power was always in you, white girl, and then leaving?
Yes, she wanted her to actually get better and be able to do this. And then, she can't. She failed. So she had to the Xerneas had to come back and fix the situation.
Yeah, so what lesson did he teach her?
I'm saying it didn't work out. It was an attempt. It was a failure.
Xerneas is like one step above Suicune.
Xerneas gave her the ability to bedazzle her kingdom, a very important skill that she needs to save it.
I don't think she needs the as seen on TV bedazzle gun from 2003. I think that's actually worse for the carpet.
She is convinced she needs that. We cut to later. Mega Diancie is making her heart diamond underground and restores the diamond realm to its former glory. Everyone says they'll be friends forever. Bonnie pulls the diamond out of her purse to realize it's still there and it's still very real. So they offer it to Diancie as not only the first diamond she ever made, but a symbol of their friendship.
She says she can't hold on to it because that would interfere with the TV storyline.
That would affect RCS Ex Machina. You're so right.
Oh, God. She says she'll cherish it, and the movie ends. We get a credit song. It's not terrible by Pokemon movie standards. It's about tearful goodbyes. It's not too outstandingly bad because I didn't even write a single line verbatim from it. We get a few scenes in the credits showing that the father-daughter combo are running a bakery now. Riot proposes to Marilyn. Team Rocket is on a blimp, same as it ever was. And then we see a bunch of Mega Evolutions dancing over a VFX background. We get a triple shot of closure here at the end of scenes of real things instead of Pokemon over VFX backgrounds. The first shot has Xerneas tree in it, and everyone's happy. The night sky has a pissed off Yveltal screaming and flying through it as there's a blood moon in the background. And the Diamond Realm has Diancie shaking Carbink babies. That's probably not... She's not a very motherly figure. She should stop that. And that's the movie. That's Pokemon Movie 17, Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction. Before we get to our segments, did you know you can get access to the next episode of Pokemon Go to the Movies early over at patreon.com/gbpodcast? It also helps support the show so we can keep doing it. Anyway. Let's get to our segments. This is where I have to read 3 million words, but actually, let me see if we could do another segment first because I'm so lightheaded from describing this film.
It's usually Whimsy Meter first anyway.
Oh,
so.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I am now seeing our one-time segment from last time, Team Rocket relevant when. you want to learn about that, go watch the prior episode of Pokemon Go to the Movies. So it's time to rate it based on the whimsy meter. On a scale of 1 to 10, how whimsical was this film? We're going to go ahead and start with Chris.
This is a pretty whimsical one. We got a magic princess. We got weird, goofy villains. We have people turning to stone at the end. We have the mall scene where they all go shopping. So I'm going to give this a 9 on the whimsy meter.
I also thought this was really whimsical, and in a way that seemed wholehearted and not just thrown in as a 1 minute long segment because they went, oh shit, these movies are whimsical. Remember to do that scene. You know, it's about a princess trying to get the power to use love to save her kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Also a death bird, but we're not going to focus on that. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10. Shiba Yagato?
See, I'm feeling the opposite. I think a lot of the whimsy in this movie is artificially inflated, and then when you peel back the curtain, it's just like, oh yeah, we have the bird of death in his cocoon where he wakes up and sucks people off until they turn to stone. We have a princess abandoning her kingdom and her loyal servants in order to just fuck off to a city where she nearly gets kidnapped at least 10 times, I think. And we have a lot of shit that, you know, seems whimsy on the surface. I think the only scene of pure whimsy that isn't really interrupted by any of that is the boat with the Boizel and the diamond.
Yeah.
For me, it lands lower. I think I'm going to give it like a 3.
Dr. Aggro.
I feel like since all whimsy is necessarily like an artificial social construct to stave off the gnawing nihilism of our own inevitable death, that I'm more with Chris on this one. We go right down the list of cool fairy tale stuff, and then we also have a scene where women be shopping in the mall. It's straight up Beastmaster 2 up in this bitch. I'm gonna give this movie a 9.
Bob.
Yeah, I also thought it was pretty whimsical. The only thing that I feel wasn't that whimsical was when they pulled out the missiles.
And that was fucking metal.
You don't know what the missiles are full of. They could have been full of whimsy.
The missiles could have had confetti in them.
They did not. We saw them explode.
It was really tiny confetti. That was very flammable.
But yeah, other than that, a lot of whimsy in this movie. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay, that gives it an average whimsy score of 7.4. We're moving on to the Dex check, however. The Dex check is, how good was the Pokemon representation? Oh, I have to say so many words. How good was the Pokemon representation in this movie? In order to do this, though, I have to read every Pokemon in the film, and this time, I have alphabetized them, because I thought that would be fun. In this movie, we got Absol, Aegislash, Amara, Ampharos, Blastoise, Blaziken, Buizel, Bunnelby. I missed the Bunnelby. Carvana, Charizard, Chatot, Chestnut, Chespin, Clawitzer, Combee, Dedan, Delibird, Delphox, Diancie, Doublade, Dragalge. I've actually never, because it's like algae.
Dragalge,
yeah,
I think.
Dragalge. We're missing an A, aren't we, for algae? Anyways, Dragalge, Ducklet, Eevee, Farfetch, Fennekin, Flabebe.
Where was Farfetch'd in this fucking movie?
Probably in one shot.
Right.
It's not even in the intro because it denotes that over on...
Yeah, I feel robbed now. Where was my boy?
He was hiding from Yveltal. He's just in the background. Like,
You know
oh
what? Good
shit,
for him.
you woke
Smart.
him up. Fennekin, Flabebe, right, we already did that. Fletchender, Fletchling, Floatzel, Floette, Fungus, Froakie, Furfro, Garchomp, Gardevoir, Go-Go, Goldeen, Greg, Ninja, Hawlucha, Honedge, Hoppip, Inkay. Oh, I missed the Inkay.
Yeah, he's on.
Oh, that's
James
right.
has
He
one.
was riding
Yeah.
the Diamond Wave. He was having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumpluff, Linoon, Lucario, Love Disc, Magikarp, Meowstic, Meowth, Mewtwo. Right, they showed the X and Y Mega Mewtwo's during the credits. Murkrow, Nidoran, Boy, Ninjask, Noctowl, Noibat, Noivern, Oddish, Phantump, Pikachu, Pyroar, Remoraid, Rhyhorn, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Scatterbug, Caesar, Seaking, Sharpedo, Skiddo, Skrelp, fucking Skrelp,
Skrelp.
Spearow, Spritzy, Starly, Swanatalo, Teddiursa, Tentacruel, Trevenant, Tyrunt, Ursaring, Venusaur, Vivillon, Whalmer, Whalelord, Wingull, Wobbuffet, Xerneas, Yanmega,
Yes.
Yveltal,
Let's go.
and Zigzagoon.
Let's go.
We're gonna have to alphabetize these more often, so I,
I was
can
going to
end
say,
these
is
on
that why
Zigzagoon.
you alphabetize this list?
It is a benefit I am only now coming to appreciate.
I think it's a wonderful reason to alphabetize. I support it.
Yeah, Zigzagoon's great. Okay, anyways, we're doing a 1 to 10 dex check on how good the Pokemon representation in this movie is. I'm honestly feeling pretty great. These are some good choices. I'm worried about them doing more 6th gen movies because they use some great Pokemon right out of the gate. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Lots of delightful Pokemon everywhere. We got the cool moment at the top of that building as we did the zoom in on the arena that had the cat Pokemon. It was really, really good. I loved it. Shibuya, how are you feeling?
I don't know. For all the names you said in there, I feel like I actually saw a third of those in this movie. I'm sure a decent chunk of those were specifically just in the intro segment, as they usually are, but it wasn't bad. Like, it does focus on mostly Gen 6 Pokemon like you would expect it to, but like, I saw the Ampharos in the back of the mall scene. I saw a Skitty when they were having food near the start of the movie, and I clapped.
Yeah!
I love that little guy.
Mm-hmm.
The scene with the Esper and the Meowstic was real good. I think I wish I had seen more past Gen Mons in like really important shots, but I didn't hate this dex check. So I'm gonna give it a 5 for now, because there are names in there I like, but where were they? I didn't spot them.
Yeah, this list is 99 Pokemon long, and it's because they're just stuffing them into the backgrounds of shots.
Yeah,
'Cause,
they're all
Yeah.
over the mall and stuff.
Yeah, because that cafe scene, like Shibuya was talking about, yeah, there was like an Ampharos having a meal with the Skitty or whatever. And that was cute. And I was like, hey, it's my boys. But yeah, Dr. Aggro.
Yeah, in addition to just packing the backgrounds with a lot of great picks, the ones that get some use, we see a lot of great travel involving Pokemon. This movie reminded me that Rhyhorn is just top tier every day.
Yes.
Between like Ash riding a Howlucha, the fucking chick with a staff coming down from a Yanmega, that weird ass ninja with 2 Ninjasks tied to his belt. There was a lot of great utilization of Pokemon in this movie. On the other hand, your boy really hates Mega Evolutions.
Boo.
Like a lot. I dislike them in concept and in execution.
Just to be clear,
Brave
I
of you
also
to say that.
I also don't like Mega Evolutions.
Wow.
Boo. Cowards. Cowards.
Also, Delphox.
Wait, you just hate Delphox? Is that
I hate Delphox.
I also
I think
kind of hate
Delphox is a
Delphox.
disappointing final Evo. I don't hate it.
It's
Yeah,
not.
I-
it's like a bad Digimon. I'm not into that thing.
Okay, that's too far.
and it's in the whole movie.
There's so much controversy here in this one segment.
Right?
If there's a Pokemon in that lineup of Gen 6 starters that's a bad Digimon, it's Chestnut, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, no, like he's right there. I mean, like a little above, but not by much.
Okay.
Six is a complicated gen for me because it's the first one where I really gave a shit about how cool the legendaries are. Yveltal fucking rules all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a fan of the starter lineup. So, I mean, all of that's going to even out to this movie getting like a weak 7.
Bob.
I'm going to have to rate this really highly. We had the entire sword line. We had people ride on them. We had the ninjas that Aggro was talking about. I feel like they actually make use of all the Pokemon, which is something they just haven't done in so many movies. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 9. And it might just be because I've been like in this deprived state.
There.
There was a 5th gen movie. Was he going to representation?
They may have been there, but I don't think they did anything.
That's true. I don't remember any 5th gen Pokemon attached to some dude's belt flying him around.
Right?
So good.
It is
You sure
incredible. And yeah, Omega with the staff riding is also great.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, everything Bob said is right. Like I started clapping when I saw them riding the swords. I really like all the Gen 6 starters. I don't think Delphox needs to be witchier. I feel like the RPG gimmick they have going on with the knight and the ninja and it fails when it's just they have. And I hate Del Fox's ears. Like, I hate the ear hair. It just looks like the fire ear hair looks really terrible to me.
Yeah, I always thought
I've
that
never liked it.
The Del Fox I just disliked because of the CG model or the 3D model they had for it in game. But no, even seeing it animated like this, it's not a good design.
It's just too boring. And
Yeah.
especially when Breakson is like a really cute idea of hee little witch gremlin, you know?
Yeah, and it should have had there should have been more witch energy, but at the same time, swords. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay. That brings our average score to 7.6. Next up is the gun check. Could this movie have been better solved with a gun? We're starting this segment with Shibuya Gato.
Yes, you shoot the thieves. Done.
Dr. Aggro?
I think that really hinges on whether or not, without the influence of antagonists or kidnappers, would anybody involved in the plot have wandered into that cocoon anyway. Ash does tend to fall down holes a lot, but I suppose barring any evidence for that eventuality, yes, you could have just shot all of these people.
An interesting thing of note in the flashback about the All-Earth Forest, there are no humans present, implying that Pokemon merely entering the puddle would in fact cause it. If Diancie is on her journey to do this regardless of human intervention, like if we shot everyone, I feel like it's inevitable that Ash falls in the water, or if Ash isn't even there, a Pokemon touches the water, because she is not exactly a tactical mind.
Yeah. It does get upset even when Diancie's in the water.
And the worst problem here, we can't shoot Diancie to death. She would deflect the bullets.
Are we sure that fighting in the water isn't what pissed it off?
Unclear.
Well, that and the fact that so many people fell in. Because Yveltal's a little pissed the first time. It only wakes up after like the 6th time somebody sets foot in that water. It seems
to have like a 3 strikes policy.
I love that it's the exact sentence you said, Shibuya, of like, it's how many people went in, and it's like, what is this, a horror movie villain? The teens are down at the lake, I'm gonna kill them all. Like, I really love that notion. It's like, one person, we're fine. Maybe Diancie just barely bounces into it, and everything's okay. It's only when there's like 6 of them that Yveltal becomes the murderer.
To some extent, I gotta say Diancie does have final girl energy.
She does!
Because at the end of the movie, she pulls out some insane shit to kill the fucking horror movie creature.
Plus, the horror movie creature, say they had a hatchet, would just hit it and clang. She's invincible. You can't stop her.
Yeah.
Bob, what are you thinking on the gun check?
Technically, killing the thieves would work. I agree with that, but I feel like in the past there's been like, it wouldn't be in the spirit of the movie to have killed those people. I feel like the thieves are the only people I like in the movie, so I wouldn't be okay with killing them, so the gun check just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that question, could you reasonably kill Argosteel with a gun? I mean, the dude's on a military airship and he's rolling around with an Aegislash.
That's true.
And he's a divorced guy. You just know he can reach under his bed and grab an AR-15. Like, I feel like you don't want that. Like, I just look at him and I'm like, that's not a dude you want to pull out a gun on.
Yeah, you better shoot him dead in the first bullet, because that dude's pulling out a Helldiver stratagem on your ass if you don't down him.
Like, this is a guy who's like, I don't have a wife anymore. I can buy surplus military hardware.
Yeah, there is a decent chance if they had shot Argus, then the missiles would auto-fire at them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. The orbital strike gets called.
And you know what they have? A Diancie who can make a diamond shield.
Huh. Some of the time, for a little while. Chris, what do you think?
No. Especially if we assume that the actual core conceit of this movie is that Diancie has to learn to believe in herself to become Sailor Moon. I feel like adding a gun to that arc maybe changes its trajectory and everything falls apart. It's like, sorry, Diancie, you have blood on your hands now, so you can never create a real diamond. Our civilization is doomed.
Diancie doesn't understand a lot of concepts like mortality. So given a gun, Diancie's just going around the city shooting people.
Just the little Diancie was a pistol. Is
Right.
a lot to deal with.
Oh yeah, in my head, it's the Levis Polka Loituma song playing, and the gun's
my
going
God.
off at every beat.
Yeah, and it's the Homura video with Diancie just bouncing around.
Yeah.
Yes.
She has to use both hands to fire it.
The police are like, that Diancie's got a gun!
The Carbinks are just dancing along because the bullets ricochet off them and hit something else.
God. Oh no. She's got like a weird death squad now. They start bouncing around like funnels to redeflect shots into people. It's like a fucking Gundam thing.
We can all agree that the Carbink killed those guys then, right?
Yes. If not the third one it bounced off of in a row, then at least the second or first. Diancie would have missed.
Hey, if it can talk, it can stand trial.
You're going to put this rock on trial? I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say introducing a gun could have only made everything worse. We're moving on to our next segment, the MVP most valued Pokemon. Who do you think brought it this movie? Who do you think the real star is? Dr. Aggro, you get to lead us.
That's going to be Dace, the adult in the room. Just from beginning to end, he has what seems to be an absolute monarch who they have never taught basic concepts to at all. And he is attempting to shepherd her on a massive overland quest to find a mystical creature to unlock her superpowers. And she doesn't know words like thieves or friends or probably money or food. He's keeping this entire country together by himself. I assume he manifested the ability to talk out of pure stress.
What about the other one?
Oh, fuck that one.
Merrick?
Jeez.
That was just annoying and needs to stop talking.
Maybe Bob will give it to Merrick. Bob?
Yeah, no.
Oh, who's your MVP?
It's Hawlucha.
Yeah.
God damn it.
If it was without Hawlucha, Ash would have died.
That's true.
You're so right.
I don't know why Ash thinks he would have survived that, but I believe he thinks he would have just been able to jump off that balcony like those guys in
Other guys.
Other guys.
Yeah.
Not Free Guy, Jesus.
No, that's a very different film.
I mean, are you saying there wouldn't have been a legendary there to catch him?
I guess I can't prove it.
Chris, who is your MVP?
Slash. It's just so delightful to see him being used as like a segue.
These guys have
Like just
incredible
something about that
balance.
is really delightful.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious.
Well, Slash has like the handle, so it's really easy to just hold on and
That's true.
he can take you around.
Yeah, this movie's
even a
one
two-seater.
obsession with how can you use Pokemon to fly in a way you wouldn't expect is really good.
It's very charming.
On a related note, my MVP is Ninjask.
Fair.
Which one?
The one on the left.
There you go.
Which, to be fair, I called them Shedinja in my recap because where there is a Ninjask, there is a Shedinja. The implication exists. Shibuya, who's your MVP?
It's tempting because Hawlucha was my first, and that's gone. So it's either the background skitty in the cafe scene, or it's the Ninjask on the right. And I think I'm going to have to give it to the Ninjask on the right. I don't want him feeling left out here.
Yeah!
No shady on Mega, though. I respect his efforts.
I'm like, did we leave out any Pokemon? I guess Doublade. Doublade was left out. I was like, we have more Pokemon of this that flew and held people, right? Like, yes, Doublade did that once. Well, that gets us to our fifth segment, very important segment that everyone understands the layers of irony with and appreciates. Is Ash in a coma? Do the events of this movie tell you that he is or definitively is not in a coma? We're starting this segment with Bob.
I'm going to say yes. There's just something about the whole opening on all the Pokemon talking and that just being normal. and completely normalizes. Ash now follows this princess around and gets fairy powers. I think there's just something about it that rings true to being in a coma.
There's the tiniest bit of Fraggle Rock energy to the underground diamond domain that maybe you're right. Chris, what do you think?
No, nothing about this movie really jumped out as being more coma-like than any of the last ones. These last few, Ash has felt very incidental to all of them, where he's not unlocking the power of God in every other movie anymore. So I feel like he's either not in a coma or he's dead and in purgatory.
I'm also going to have to go with no, not really. I'm not getting huge coma dream vibes on this one. Everything seems about as normal as Pokemon as a world is. It doesn't have any heightened sense of like, and then Ash used the fairy aura. We don't have any legends about Ash, the super kid. This just seems like Ash is along for the ride and trying to support his friends. Shiba Yagato?
See, I'm going to argue yes, because I think we've moved past the wish fulfillment stage of Ash's comatose musings, and we're reusing set pieces, but in reverse from the first movie. He's run out of ideas in his unconscious mind. There's nothing left, so we're just cycling back to one of them turns to stone and cries over the other's corpse, and we have the manifestation of death. It feels like we're on the verge of brain death here.
Man, we are completely gridlocked on this. Half are saying yes, half are saying no. Aggro, you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, this conversation has been descriptive of my thought processes, because heretofore Ash has been, his coma dreams have formed way more cogent narratives with better through lines, and not just, and then Yveltal fucked off and Xerneas turned into a tree. So I was really split on whether this was just one of those, like reality being weirder than fantasy, and it's not a coma, or he's experiencing, brain degeneration as he slips out of the ability of medical science to keep him alive. In the end, the real deciding factor was, I believe that if this had been a coma dream, he would have kissed the rock princess at the end. Gonna go with no.
It tastes like
That's
dirt.
vile.
I think that's pretty accurate, though.
I
I
mean,
think he would be like, and then the girl coded legendary kisses me, and I blush, and I'm the hero.
He puts his hand on his lips and goes, "Why does it taste like rock candy?"
Then a much larger threat to the Carbig civilization starts.
Oh no! They even had the setup scene with them watching the shooting stars. I was ready for it too, Aggro.
Ash very loudly on the second one. Yeah, I hope you can make diamonds. Ash silently on the first one. I hope you become a human girl and kiss me like that one movie.
What's your mega evolution?
Whoa.
Pokedex, I'm going to need to see this now. The shooting star's going fast.
It's like a third date question at earliest.
Well, this brings us to our final segment that isn't the rating, our Arceus Ex Machina segment. How big are the plot holes just so the movie ends on the status quo of the show? This is a 1 to 10 segment, and I get to start it. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think this does giant leaps in order to end on the status quo of the show. I feel like the diamond thing is the most pitiful, like, you can't have that. You don't have that in the show. Give it back. Give it back to the guy at the counter. We're leaving the tour. And outside of that, I can't think of any major things other than, like, Xerneas didn't have to become a tree, I'm convinced. It just chose to.
It could probably untree itself whenever it wants.
Maybe. They called it slumbering, so you would think.
Yeah, it's just gonna sleep for like 1,000 years.
That's all.
Just go in EP mode. It's fine.
I want to see an edit of the Bulbapedia Dex entry for Xerneas, and it's like EP mode. It's a hyper-realistic tree.
He had to deal with a white woman for like 30 seconds. He's like, I'm going to bed.
I'm so tired.
I know that the anime uses that weird thing that was Zygorid or whatever, the thing that was supposed to be in Z.
Zygarde.
Yeah. I don't know if it uses Xerneas in Yveltal. So they might be fine that they do this.
If I don't get Zygarde in a movie, that's going to be really weird for me emotionally. When are the movies going to start doing legends? When are we going to get Pokemon Legends?
We haven't had a movie in 4 years.
Right,
So.
but it feels like that's a really good way to not have to worry about what the latest game's doing.
They keep doing the Legends OVA style thing, just as short
That's
episodes.
true. They do the really, really small things,
Yeah,
but
like-
they should do it for a feature length.
Probably.
I feel like that makes sense. I mean, everyone loved we're going to retell the story of first gen one,
Yeah.
which I've forgotten the name of, but that was hype. Anyways, I'm going to give it a 3. It's really not that outlandish in the grand scheme of things. Once again, pretty sure Xerneas could untree in order to go solve another problem. That diamond didn't need to be returned, but it was, which is kind of funny. I can't think of anything else. We're going to go to Shibuya, who might think of something else.
I can't think of something else. I think the diamond thing is probably the biggest one. And they just go, no, you can have it as a sign of our friendship and a sign that we'll never meet you again. and then they fuck off. And I think that's as good of a way to tightly close it out as possible. It's getting a 1 from me.
Aggro.
I am thinking I'm going to have to score this one on the low end, but that's really conditional on a couple of questions. Like, they were wandering around out there for months, but were they going in circles? Were they traveling in one direction? How broad, how wide, expansive is the underground cave network? Like, is it just in this region? Does it go to other regions? Is the hollow earth riddled with tunnels full of carbinks? Also, I've become convinced that Xerneas and Yveltal are running like a Dragonheart style bit where they're pretending that like he's gonna wake up and kill everyone, and then Xerneas is like, no, my fairy aura, and then turns into a tree to not have to answer any follow-up questions. So I don't think Yveltal being out there is like a problem. I think if he gets out of hand or goes too high, Rayquaza is going to deal with it anyway. So this is like a 4.
That's how most of our movies' conclusions go. It's just like at a certain altitude, you're now their problem. Something about the hollowed earth is full of caverns, full of carbinks made me go, it's Gears of War. The carbinks are just going to surface through holes, and Ash, who's now buff and has a chainsaw, is going to have to deal with it.
When is Ash going to find captured Misty and just have to shoot her in the head?
Oh my god. Like, it's the Pokemon universe. You know, you've got all these great ecosystems full of so many diverse Pokemon, but then it's just carbinks. Just carbinks to the core.
Oh no.
I think that what they were implying is that the crystals act as a warp hub. So literally, there aren't that many of them, but there's these pockets they warp between.
So it's kind of like the God of War, like Outer Realm thing, where they just have light bridges, and they're like, "Oh, I need to go over here now. We're just gonna pop into the Diamond Realm for a second."
Yes,
It's the web way, like Warhammer. No, now you see the real thing is that heart is actually the core. They're at the core of the planet. And if that heart diamond is gone, the Earth's magnetic field goes away and everybody gets killed by radiation.
Jeez.
It's like, sorry, you don't have the magnetic field shielding the Earth from cosmic rays anymore. Everybody's cooked, literally.
See, I just like to think that all of those diamond tunnels are fast travel points, but the Carbink are so stupid and have no sense of direction, they haven't unlocked the next one, so they were just going in circles. They have maybe 2 or 3 unlocked total.
They spent months just walking a circle around their own cave.
Yeah.
That's so depressing. They shouldn't have let the princess lead the survey team. I feel like that was a mistake.
Absolutely not.
It's funny how the elder gets reintroduced and things immediately get resolved. Maybe he should have left with them in the first place. Anyway, hey Bob.
Hey, what's up?
What's your Arceus Ex Machina rating?
Yeah, this is really low. They even do the thing of giving the diamond back. I'm gonna give it a 2. Like, it's hard to think of anything that this really interferes with.
And Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 1. There's literally nothing. Like, all that there is the diamond, but I feel like just they didn't even have to do that. It just could have been in her pocket forever.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have an episode that's like, Bonnie, empty your purse.
Yeah, it's like this thing detects if you have a diamond and then causes problems. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
Okay, and that brings us to our final rating. What do we give the movie on a scale of 1, 2, and we're now in 6th gen, So that's 1 to 719. I love having a huge amount of numbers I can choose from. It gives me so much dynamic range to how much I appreciate movies. And it's so transparent to Pokemon listeners who, of course, know what that means. You can all think in base 719, right? Let's go ahead and start with Shiba Yagato.
I understand that the Delphox and Greninja trainers are fun and charming, but I think they bog down the pace of this movie a shit ton, basically anytime they're on screen. And I hate to say there's too many human characters, but we got a taste of Team Rocket being relevant again. And if you axe the Delphox and Greninja bitches, and if you just have it be the divorced dad and his daughter trying to stop Team Rocket from taking this journey out preemptively, that makes it more dynamic, that makes me care, that brings Team Rocket back into the spotlight more often than the one scene they get, and it might have been a lot tighter. This is not on the level of the Keldeo movie, not by a long shot, but I was dissociating through most of it, minus, like, the mall scene and, Xerneas showing up and turning into a tree. I think I'm gonna have to give it, like, a 200. I just wasn't feeling this one. There's minor things you could have fixed, but, that's not the movie we have.
Aggro, what did you think?
I think that this movie, like Shibuya mentioned during the coma segment, has a lot of things we've seen before. But, that was stuff I loved. How we opened on the trainer battle that had the really uncomfortably differentiated version of Very Best. You've got Millis Steele is probably the coolest movie character we've had in a long time. This movie's it's peppered with wonderful nonsense and some things that are really awesome and some things that are real stupid. But at a quick gut check, this is one of those Pokemon movies I would rewatch in a heartbeat, especially compared to a bunch of the other ones. I'm going to give this one a 480.
Bob.
Yeah, I actually like this quite a bit. This is my favorite in a long time. I honestly feel like it could have been longer. Like my main problems are we could have had more with those other trainers we saw. The trainer at the very beginning with the Absol. It'd be nice if she actually was part of the movie. I'd like to see more of the ninja and the witch. But I still really liked what we got. It did feel a bit rushed at moments, but yeah, I'm going to give it like a 590. Like I like this quite a bit.
Chris Wolfhart?
I'm going to give this a 545 because I agree with Bob. I think this, in fact, should have been the standard 90 minutes that they were for like the first 12 or 14 and had that time devoted to fleshing out these, like the thief characters, the three with the starters a little bit more because we don't get a whole lot. We just get a little.
Yeah, like what's there is good, but we could have used more.
Yeah. And maybe we could have, truncated that ending segment a little bit. Not had 2 climaxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty good. It didn't have any moments that looked absolutely terrible. There weren't any segments where I just start screaming like Mystery Science Theater. And like there's no moment where we sit down at a park and they go, we should feed all our Pokemon food and they should dance now. There are a number of ways other movies have frustrated, disappointed, and bored me that this did not do. I thought it did all right. Its only shortcoming, I feel like, is that we do, as Shibuya was bringing up, have an overly large cast. But I still liked it despite that. I'm glad to be coming out of this one pretty positive. I'm going to give it a 539. Which brings our total number of points up to 2,354, and you can figure it out from there. Thank you for listening to this episode of Pokemon Go to the Movies. You don't have to Pokemon Go home, but you can't Pokemon stay here?
I think that's right.
Yeah, I keep wanting to add, you don't have to Pokemon Go, Pokemon home, but you can't Pokemon stay, Pokemon here.
To the movies.
To the movies.
God damn it.
Go to Pokemon Sleep.
The executive producers for this GigaBoots video are Esme, Ely Broyles, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, A Reminder for Symphony of War, Cooper Tank, Very Best Plot, Iconic Bane, and Rado. Thank you very much to our executive producers. and also these guys. If you want to become an executive producer or normal patron, head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.